all those three signs, and on top of that, this kind of behavioral signs, listening to the call center call and talking to the real customers, we actually got very good position in designing the right win-back offers for them. Now, was it a game of big intelligence, science, and all those stuffs? Not really. There was clear evidence. And if I show you the evidence, you will be really stark. That a science which can search for wells actually can search for the churners in your network. So earlier, when the model used to predict 9 people going to churn, only 1 was the real churner. So the ratio was 1:8. After this model, it was 1:half. So if I predict 3 people going to churn, 2 out of them are sure shot churners. So my amount of the wrong win-back offer targeting went down drastically. The second one, earlier best model used to give me the answer not before 7 to 9 days. And within which the marketing team will not be able to design the product or send that offer to the customer. When they send it, the customer has already churned. Today it gives 15 to 18 days, which is good enough to think what should I target those customers with. Third, because earlier it was more throwing a dirt in the black, the revenue that we could save was only 8%. Today it's 60%. Now, do you believe this was really done with the data science team of that operator? How many of you believe that that operator had genius data science team sitting with them and they actually did all this? How did they do it then? Okay. No, it was not done by the data science team completely. Yes, data science team actually joined hand with the right people to get it done because they understand the in-house business better. But what actually happened, we joined hand with the research people. This project was done with Harvard Business School Biostatistics Department, people who actually study ocean temperature and predict kind of the tsunamis. This was done with those people, very unconventional tie-up that this team had. And when we joined hand with them, so they actually were doing a project where they can do a better crowd management. And they were doing, is it possible that we apply this kind of science on Kumbh Mela type of project where we can look at the telecom tower behavior and kind of predict where there is problem that's going to happen and how can I do a better governance, better administration for this crowd. And if it could be applied for such a crowd thing, we can always apply to the telecom customers because if an operator has more than 200 million customers, this is equivalent to a Kumbh Mela, right? So it actually happened hand in joint hand with those biostatistics department of Harvard Business School. I can give you n number of those examples like data science comes from genetics, molecular biology, thermodynamics, astrophysics, statistics, of course, there's something, psychology and mathematics and computer science. As where genetics and molecular biology is used? All in Flipkart, Amazon, everywhere you see those beautiful recommendation engine who come when you go to their site and they tell you, okay, you are searching for this, probably you will like this also. Or suppose you have already searched through multiple things, they haven't reacted at that point. After an hour, they come back and saying, we have created a kitty, and this is what I have seen very recently with Myntra. They came back and told, we have actually created a kitty for you of, we believe you will like those. Instead of going through n number of products, just go through these 20 products and choose yours. You can believe I actually chose 8 out of those. It was such a perfect selection that they sent me. So when you design those kind of recommendation engine, it's actually a humongous amount of genetics and molecular biology is getting used there. I can go on and on, so let's not go through that. So what till date has happened that anything which has come to research flown into business. But is it possible that business kind of influenced the research? It has actually happened. And two of those examples are text analytics. So text analytics was never done by an university or any research people. It actually started from a bank, US bank, who used to n number of emails from their customers. Reading through this mail was very difficult, and actually reacting to those people and figuring out who is this customer is going to be risky for me, or which of this deal going to be risky. That is the time when text analytics had been invented. The second one is actually contextual advertising. Like in US, people are thinking, if I'm driving on a particular road, the billboards that you see both sides of the highway going to change based on who is driving at that moment on that particular place. Now I know in India, like so many people driving at the same time, it's almost not possible. But if you think of any contextual marketing, that is one epitome of the contextual marketing, and that's where that contextual marketing and the measurement of their success has actually the business what influenced the science. So ultimately, through all this, I was not going to tell you that, how beautifully the team has designed the telecom churn model. What I actually want to harp on you is there is a huge onus on the industry leaders lying with who actually join hand with the academic research people and create very path-breaking and futuristic solutions. India has TIFR, IMSC, Institute of Math Science, IISC, ISI, IITs, and all of this institute has great researchers doing beautiful research. Hardly any one of us know what the paper that they write, what they're really inventing. Is it possible that they can join hand and kind of create a joint IPs? If a research work cannot create a patent, then that's not a research work. Then you haven't invented anything new. So just creating and publishing your paper on some journal doesn't make it suitable for you to get a PhD degree. And industry has a huge onus to do that joint hand-holding and actually create those path-breaking products. And it's not that you are doing as a benevolence. I'm not asking you to do as a voluntary work. You have actually huge amount of revenue as an impact out of it. 3 ways you can do that. First, of course, join hand in terms of their teaching curriculum that they have. Today, when we onboard any fresh graduates, almost it takes any company to train them 1 to 2 years to make them employable. A huge amount of investment happens in terms of training them. Imagine if we could have actually contributed and made sure that they are studying the right thing, the good amount of things, they could have been able to run from the very first month or the second month probably. So you will actually save huge amount of training cost. When you are creating joint IPs, today IPs or the patents are actually filed by Microsoft, Google, IBM, those companies. Why can't the industry also do that? We can actually join hand with this academic research people and create joint IPs. You'll be way ahead of your competition. Couple of months back, one student asked me, if Alibaba enters Indian market, what will happen to our Indian companies? You know what differentiates Alibaba or Amazon from our Indian companies? They actually know the value of technology. And they always set out a huge amount of their investment and their people's brain just inventing new things. They don't care. That is their KRA. They don't care whether down the line of 6 months whether they have got better sale or not. They know that when 10 people are doing a research, maybe 8 of them will fail. Only 2 probably will succeed, but those 2 which will succeed will bring them 20 times more revenue. And if they can do that, I'm sure our Indian companies also can do that. And of course, democratization of the work, you can do lots of work through the crowdsourcing. So you can actually kind of do it as give small projects to the students and create it. And actually, today morning, Anirudh told that, he actually created a project which was coming out of 3 institute students collaborated and created that, and he has got a client out of that, right? So why can't we do the same thing? Create small projects, make it as a game to the students, let them create those solutions, You can even auction those solutions. Imagine there are 3 different solutions and the industry people sitting there, they can actually auction around that. You can really do, good things there. Just one caution, please don't think that solution will give you, get rid of hiring data science people. No, your data science people do the regular job, and these people will do the more futuristic works, which you cannot do within your bandwidth immediately, which you can't really think of. There may be a chance of failure. These are the people not going to bring revenue within next 6 months. So this is not a replacement of data science team, this is a futuristic solution makers. And that's all I had to say.
A few comments to be made here. Whatever you suggested falls into the realm of PPP, public-private partnership. And as some of you are teachers here, you would readily agree with me that the procedure for getting the patents, as also the funding for the patent, here in India is very cumbersome. I invented a methodology in which I imported a technique from spectroscopy, one branch of physics, to determine the phase transition temperatures of soft liquid crystal matter, that is solid state physics. I tried to get a patent. At that time, our university did not have the policy of backing up the patents, of people who would like to get the patents. I was told by the patent advocate I'll have to shell out 1 lakh of rupees. And that time my salary was hardly about 1700, 1800 rupees. I'm talking way back of 1978, 79, around that time. Even before that, we had started working, trying to get industry build up a bridge with the academia, so that the industry could know where the lacuna exists and the academia would know as to what is required of the students by the industry. And it was not until 2000 when I started a postgraduate diploma in information technology in this very university. Because by that time I had grown in stature by 28 years of university experience. I could make my own syllabus for my IT students. We got it ratified by the academic council. We put a condition that the academic council should approve that I can revise my IT syllabus by 30% every year without referring it back to the academic council. And when I started that course, my students started asking me, what does the industry expect of us? What was the solution? I had the solution. Every week I started inviting one guest speaker from the industry. And I told my 40 students, the flock of 40 students, dash your questions to them. What do you expect of us in this particular field? And naturally, all students are not, expecting everything in every subject. They would be fascinated by one small window. So particular industry person coming and speaking, and the students would ask questions, and the industry person, guest speaker, would identify that these 1 or 2 chaps are very fine in my topic. And you will not believe me that by the end of the year, out of those 40 students, almost 34 students got placed without we holding any placement interviews. And that's where the solution that you are also suggesting, that we should the industry and the academia should be a mirror of each other in this hunt where we take the students to an position where they can be absorbed by the industry. That's where our CSI comes in. This morning I mentioned the vision of CSI is to increase the employability skills of our students in our student chapters, to increase the career graph of the members of the Computer Society of India by providing them training at a cost which is 60% of whatever is there in the industry or in the market. So that's a good idea. Only thing is, it is that small cost for the industry, which is a big hole in the pocket of the academia, which hurts where a efficient student is unable to make a mark because of the lack of funds. All of you would definitely believe me if I tell you that in the 30 years of my career at physics department,